first game of the Desert Cup this evening. It's Lordigar in the red here playing as Khmer versus Andy in the blue playing as Spanish, which we've seen him choose quite a few times before in this cup. He likes his Spanish on Arabia. So it looks like a good map for Spanish this. It's easily wallable with the woodlands, a bit worrying with the forward zone here, but he could easily secure this main one, I think, with a bit of a walling out towards here. So it should be a decent starting point for Spanish. And on Lordigar's side, Khmer player, he has 2 backstones, so it's very likely that he won't be tower rushed here if Andy does his scouting on this side. Main goal to the side could be secured by walling, like in this area, and also rather easily wallable map, I would say. So to catch a few more games throughout the evening, I'm going to speed up a bit to try to get to the action, fuel action, if there is any. So just speeding up a bit here while catching up. So with Khmer you have lots of options, honestly. You could go archers or scouts or basically anything. They have great siege, well, fantastic scorpions with a unique tech, so lots of options. With Spanish I would expect, yeah, it looks like a rush opening here from the early barracks. So 2 militia out, 3 militia out, and let's slow down a bit to see what these guys will accomplish. So it looks like it's a rush fast castle for Andy. Maybe he wants to get to the conquistadors rather quickly, which is quite common with Spanish. You could also be going for fast castle knights, and the rush is simply to delay and disturb his opponent a bit so that his fast castle will be undisturbed. So Khmer with their bonus, they can hide inside houses, which is what Nordigar did here, and then the ungarrison on the other side, and but there causes lots of idle time here for Nordigar, unfortunately. So this is already quite a successful drush. So we see 3 idles for Nordigar at the moment. Andy with the 2 villager lead, but Nordigar just picked up the fuel age, and he's also doing some quick walling here. He almost succeeds in trapping this militia, but he needs to back off again, and well, he's not taking any casualties, which is good, but now he's fighting back with villagers, micros the weak ones away, and tries to make the best of it here, but that's obviously lots of idle time for Nordigar already. Been a very successful draft for Andy. He's has not gone to gold yet. He's getting the farms up to secure the food income for the cast stage click. Let's look at this. And this eco for a bit. He's getting blue now, so we'll probably pick up the food dish quite soon. And he's effectively taking Nordigar off his berries, so this has an impact on Nordigar's economy. I'm curious to see what he is going to go for in the fuel age now. He's going to wood, and he maybe wants to go straight for the archers. He doesn't need a barracks for the archers as Khmer, so he could make a few archers just to clean this up as well. But he's going straight for the table, so he wants some mobility with the scouts. Andy isn't full walled yet, so some scouts from Lordigar could actually accomplish something here. Out 2 scouts out now, and Lordigar wants to deal with Andy's brush first, so probably a wise decision just to try and clean this up, but his scout is already weakened, so he needs to pick his fights wisely here. Loses scout, might lose the mill, but now another scout is out. And he's up to the field age and he's very close to being full walled, so scouts going forward now for Lodigar won't accomplish much. But he successfully forces Andy to withdraw here. And Thresh is it's been very successful for Andy, but he pulled away now. So he could pull back for some more alignment if he wants to, but he's idled his opponent enough to complete his own walls, and he's in a very good position now to get to Castle Age way before his opponent. He's actually quite close in resources already, and now let's see what Lodigar will do here. He probably has limited scouting intel on his opponent. He's gonna look for an opening, but he won't find one, I think. Here's the stable going up for Andy, so he might mean to go knights in Castle Age, which is certainly a good approach for Spanish. Their blacksmith upgrades don't cost gold, so you could get the armor and the attack for the knights easily. And now, since his opponent's full walled, Lodigar is adding an archery range. I think he will be forced to stay in feudal for a while, since his crude and gold is not even gone to gold yet, so he can't really take up to Castle Age soon, something I think Andy will do right now. There we go. But a bit of a forward here from Lodigar. Let's see, maybe planning to at least take his opponent away from stone here to prevent any defensive castles and towers here, could be. I'll go to this point of view, see if he has any foundations placed or anything. But the spearman sees the villagers. That could be unfortunate if the intention was to sneak here. And I believe some archers are being sent forward, so yeah. This should be a good fight for Lodigar. He's outnumbering the armies here, but Spanish builders obviously build faster. We're also more builds building here, so I think this tower will go up finally, which will, or is he abandoning it at 98%? No, he can't do that. I don't know what. Okay, so there's another tower here from Lodigar first to cover this one. But now Andy's already Castle Age. He could add siege and clean up the towers right away, or he could just take his time and move up, because it's not really threatened until this tower goes up, and that should also be easy to fight back for him now that he's in Castle Age and his opponent is closing in but still pretty far away, unless he gets a market up and abuses to be able to click up here. Andy produces some knights. His opponent is very, very open here, but Khmer can hide inside the houses, so that isn't necessarily an issue. Sends the knights in, but he can't safely force down this tower because there's another tower behind it. I think if Andy wants to deal with the towers here, he could just add the siege workshop and some ramps, but he doesn't need to rush it because he has the technology advantage here. He could just go forward and make some serious damage right now, I think. But he really wants to clean up the forward here, which makes sense, because the towers are a bit annoying, although they aren't really denying anything else than this stone here. So the knights going forward now, they don't have any significant upgrades yet, but Woodline is openish, but that's an easy quick wall here for Navigar, and he can always garrison inside the houses as well. So let's see what these knights will do here. Will Andy break in here? No, it's been quick wall, but there's a lower chop here. But there's no room between the trees here, so he's fine. So Norwegian is doing a good job here, keeping his opponent out, while he himself is reaching the castle age. So, but these knights are still annoying, and there isn't any barracks for Norwegian at the moment, so he can't produce pikemen. He's adding another stable, so he wants to contest these knights that don't, for now, have any upgrades. So, Norwegian going straight for bloodlines means his knights will have extra HP, and I think he has the eco now to sustain a few knights production of his own as well. Oh, he's adding an elephant. Okay, that's interesting. They're even more tanky, so why not mix it in? Should also have been a misclick, but I think it might be a way to contest the knights with even more HP, and they also have +1, which Andy's knight doesn't have. Andy now with the defensive castle, that's gonna deal with both of these towers, I think. And Norwegian now assembling his forces a bit. He hasn't really made use of his archery range for a while. But of course now he knows there's a gas tap here, so he needs to find somewhere else to break in. There's only palisades on the sides for now, but I don't think Norwegian knows about those at all. But he certainly should not take any fights under cannon fire here and just... I guess these scouts were expendable at this point, but still kind of a waste. I also like Norwegian's preemptive adding of skirms here, because skirms will do nicely to defend against conquistadors. He will need elite for them to make any sense, but he does have range. He could make more once his eco can support it. He's adding his second town center now. I think Andy is already on 2 or 3. He's on 2 TCs, yep. And has a few conquistadors out. It's too few conquistadors to make of a significant threat here though. They might be focused down the knights and the elephant here, and not to mention the skirms that were added in the back as well. Those are few late skirms though, no upgrades. There won't be a contributing match, but all in all, it's a fight to be taken. But now Andy backs off back to his castle. He didn't lose any conks, which is good awareness there, bringing them home to not take any losses, and Norwegian backs off home as well. So pretty similar here. It's 11 military for Andy and 9 for Norwegian, but Andy with the slightly stronger military considering it's monks, knights and conquistadors here. Let's toggle the eco for a bit here. It's pretty similar. It's just a lot more wood for Andy, so he should be able to either place more farms or more production. He could just spend it, I guess, but that's going to happen inevitably. Now some conks forward here, forcing some idle time on Norwegian here. Is 8 idles here now. Norwegian runs in for a fight. It's like kind of more knights than conquistadors here, but the conquistadors can always hit and run, so that makes the attacking slightly more difficult. See, the Kongs are taking damage, but they're running back towards the reinforcements, and the hitting and running causes Norwegian to lose knights, while Andy actually doesn't lose any numbers at all. Now also with some monks to back it, so Andy could even get some conversions in here. Looks like Nordica deleted that elephant, unless he researched redemption, but I doubt he prioritized gold for that. He seems a bit outnumbered here. In advances now is 17 military to 9. There were still some knights garrison here, but his eco is limited. He could soon afford the defensive castle, which is sorely needed. Here's a forward castle for Andy. So that's gonna cause some trouble here, right next to all of Nordigar's army production actually. And looks like Nordigar had some plans here as well, but instead he's fleeing to the sides, I believe. Good afternoon, Ericles the Mighty. Nice of you to check in. We will have Teaspoon joining us for the next match, so there should be some good games tonight. These players are in the, I would say, 13 to 1500 range, 14 to 1500 kilo range in 1v1, so there's no joke here. So a bit of an ambitious castle here from Norwegian, defensive castle. He only had 3 or 4 builds building it, so that's likely not going to go up unless he forces a lot more villagers to build. It looks like a really rough spot for Norwegian at the moment. He's not able to push his opponent, who is fully walled, has a defensive castle, just expanding his eco more and more. And his opponent even has the military lead here. Yeah, this castle is a so-called doubt castle. It's not gonna go up anytime soon, even though the idea was good to protect a few TCs and also counterattack this castle here, but Andy now adding some forward siege as well, this forward market. Okay, because why not? See Nordigar's production going down, and he doesn't really have anywhere to go. There are some neutral resources to the right side of his base, left side on the minimap, but I don't see any easy way out for Nordigar here. He needs to expand his economy to be able to produce to the level of his enemy, and this looks really tough for now. Kongs are no joke either, running back and forth here, and perfect trading unit, especially when you effectively deny your opponent from making skirms. There's a siege workshop going up here, but that's not really gonna do a lot against the Kongs, and there are also a few elite skirms in the back here. So one range producing them, that's not really gonna be enough. You need masses to match these masses of Kongs, which are now at 15 Kongs to beat back. But Nordigar really doesn't want to give up on this castle. It might go up, but then it will be severely damaged as well. So it's even, and he could even petard it down if he wants to, or ram it down. Like he's sending forward some rams now. And he doesn't even care about the TC fire at this point. He just wants to make as much damage as possible, and he does have a military lead of 30 now. He's also got more military. He's got the 40 population lead, and this is beginning to look very much like Andy's game. Castle 99%, it finally goes up. That's gonna delay the push a little bit here, but the Rams ramming down the production areas will effectively deny more knights and skirms if he succeeds in this, Andy. The knights here that were garrisoned, they will take Castle Fire, and Andy reaches the Imperial Age, which means he can now add Trebs, which I suspect he might be doing in the forward here. And the GG is called. So Andy, being the aggressor of the whole game around, they started out with a Drush, obstructing his opponent's start in the early game, and also buying himself time to wall off the whole of his map, so that his opponent's scouts could never reach his base to do any damage. So a power play from Andy here, but there are more games to play. This is a best of 3, so we'll see how it turns out in the end. Just going to browse through the stats here for a quick moment, and we'll move on to the next game. See a significant villager high here for Andy, so he's effectively put us up to the Khmer boom and negating his opponent's advantages. So here we go. Alright, so I'll just move on with game 2 while Teaspoon, he will hop on whenever he's ready. Let's see, I just vote me. Or I think he might join, so I'm going to just keep it on pause for now. So he's Teaspoon is joining. He's adding the games to his recording games folder now. So just hold on and wait for him to join before we start this session. So for game 2 here, we have Norwegian's home map, which is Serengeti. Should be a familiar map for most African players, as it was in the ranked 1v1 map pool last month before the new pool came in. So it's also an Arabia-like map. That's kind of the theme of Desert Cup. That's Arabia-style maps, very open, desert-like with elephants and hunt like this, like ostriches and whatnot. You even have deer as well as on map. But it's generally quite open maps. It's hard to wall, which means we will be seeing a lot of both even Dark Age but feudal action and generally lots of eventful games with fights from already from feudal. Alright, slight issue here. I need to send Teaspoon by this game. No, he found it. So apparently very good. So Teaspoon is booting up his game, and then we'll move on with the casting here. Alright, Mr. Teaspoon, are you there?
I am here.
Oh, that's good to know. So I'll be like 2 seconds in this game too, so I'll launch whenever you're ready.
All right.
We might fast forward a bit to get through more games today, but I'll just click play and we'll take it from there. So here we go.
All right. I'm just loading the replay right now.
Okay, yeah.
All right, and we should be ready to go.
Yep, then I'll just click play. I'll just do a quick recap of the players here. It's Nordigar playing as Franks in the red here, and Andy in the blue, who has chosen Mongols. Mongols being possibly the obvious pick here, but I'll leave some comments to you for this Teaspoon about Civ picks and the maps overall.
All right, so we've got Serengeti, obviously, which is going to favor any type of Civ that or a hunt bonus. Now, this should be pretty obvious. The really interesting thing about Civ, Civs on Serengeti, especially, excuse me, is that Serengeti has almost, especially I believe on this balance where this game was played, almost an absurd amount of hunt. Mongols are going to be intensively favored in any type of Serengeti matchup, whereas the Franks player is going to have the food income to do that. He won't have it necessarily as quick. The Mongol player, and we might be able to see that if he goes for an early aggressive play here on in early feudal. But Mongol player can really capitalize on this, and we can see that the Mongol player is actually pushing deer currently. He wants to capitalize
Yep.
on this early on, because you can get up to feudal 2 villagers, 3 villagers faster than other civilizations, just because that food income is coming in so fast compared to other generic civilizations.
Yeah, we can notice blue player Andy is pushing the ostriches, which are on the far side of his map, because he knows already that his hunt is in the back. So he could even mill these zebras in the back here and make real good use of that. He's really been really lucky with the map gen, because he has a back woodline, he has a back stone, he has back berries, and overall a nice base. He could even wall this somewhat easily, which is not too common on Serengeti.
Absolutely. Walling on Serengeti is something you don't necessarily see almost at all. If you look in the middle of the map, all throughout the other parts of the map, parts that aren't necessarily a solid tree line, this is one of the few maps where you'll see tree lines that you can actually walk through. Like these large trees, they actually have more trees than or more wood rather than a regular tree. But the issue is the more you try and mine those, the more dangerous it is to be around them, because people can just walk right in. It's very hard to make sure you have all of the holes covered in those types of patches. So it's an interesting matchup, and it looks like both players actually have a relatively easy wall in this map. So this
yeah.
is a rare generation of Serengeti, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're really lucky with the woodlines. Maybe Nordigar with a slightly disfavored on his left hand side with his scattered woodline there, but it's not at all impossible. And he's also more unlucky with the fact that his hunt is forward. It's easily pushable, certainly from that distance, but middle is less of an option. And of course, he wants to mill his berries with the berry picking bonus that Franks get, so he can actually kind of negate the Mongols' hunting bonus. He can't match it, but he can diminish it slightly because his berries are picked twice, 50% faster.
Absolutely, we do see
Helps.
the Mongols player dropping a mill of his own on the berries in the back of his base. It's an interesting choice, not milling the deer instead, but it might just be the Ela range or the fact that he wanted to have maybe a less stressful Dark Age with all the deer management and
Yeah.
force dropping that deer hunting can
Yeah,
cause.
exactly. It's that's the fact that berry pickers they do dispose of. They only carry 10 food at a time, I think, and then they dispose it more quickly. So you have a more fluid food income. It kind of makes sense to me, but we see him also targeting his deer with 3 builds at a time, and they don't really have a long walking distance towards the mill. So this makes sense to me.
Absolutely. Now, three vills on one deer is actually a really important note for any player that's new. You'll see some people doing either 2 or 3, usually never less or more than that. And that's because 3 can finish a deer off in one go, whereas 2, both villagers have to come back. You'll usually see 2 on one vill because they can one-shot the deer, but they still have to come back. So if the mill is especially close, you'll usually see 2 on a deer,
Yep.
and if it's further away, you'll usually see 3.
I would say 4 is the magic number because there is food decay here from the zebra. He doesn't really care now because it's the Mongols, he hunts faster. But I think 4 might be the magic number here because there is 140 food total and they carry 35 food each, I think. So that should amount to 4 builds. But
Absolutely.
it doesn't really
Yep,
matter.
yeah,
You just want this early food quickly, so it doesn't matter if you gather all of it. Really, it's especially not with Mongols. But it's worth to
doubly
mention.
so for the
Yeah.
Mongols, yes.
So let's see. Here's a barracks from Lodigar. He's on the way to the village now, but Andy, of course, being Mongols, has reached it already. He's dropping the stable now with 2 villagers building it, so we will see early scouts here for sure.
Absolutely, and Scouts is a pretty standard play, especially on Serengeti. You have the food income to go heavy into Scouts if need be. If both players go Scouts, you will definitely see a heavy feudal play because it's just there on the map. It's readily available. It's easy to gather. It's fast to gather, and so it doesn't necessarily cut into your castle time. And who doesn't want more military units early on?
Yeah, so let's see. There's a spear in production already from Lodigar. He knows he's behind in the village time, so that's very good awareness there. He just knows what's coming, obviously. Uh, and let's
Absolutely.
see if
Also
he
picking up
should.
double bit axe.
He should absolutely make scouts of his own as well, I think, because Franks, they do have more HP, whereas the Mongol player needs bloodlines to match the HP, so... But I don't see any stable from Nordic Guard yet, so could be some other play here.
I think so. What it might have also been that with all these walls and things that he's had to drop, especially with an extra mill on these deer, he's been low on food. He's just recently passed the mark to even be able to build that stable, and we see it go up right now on the right side
there it
of
is.
Nordegard's base. He was in kind of a rough spot here. These forward deer on this extra, I would have milled the deer first and left the berries for later and used that extra berry income later on. I think just to maybe disregard or try to blunt the spear a little bit on how dangerous this forward deer patch can be to your early economy. Because we can see even these spears can create threats to these villagers just because they're out in the open here, causing Norgard to have to basically keep his spears on that spear so that he can maintain his food income and keep feudal age on pace. We see Andy getting a snipe on a villager over here with his scouts, a good house wall from Nordegard. Taking some shots on those scouts. One of them is very, very low health. It looks like they've decided they want to break into the palisade wall and maybe go for these wood-blind villagers.
So it is, I see 5 spears now from Nordic. It feels like almost like an overcommitment here. I mean, they don't cost that much, and if both players are committed to feudal, then sure, of course, but still only 1 spear as far as I can see from Andy's side, and the one he had forward, so that's 2 spears. That's definitely less food and wood spent for Andy.
Absolutely. There's also surely some type of psychological play going on here. Nordegard knows that the Mongols are going to be going heavy into the cavalry, so it's possible that he's putting in an early investment and hoping for it to pay off later on. We see him coming with an archery range, which is always an interesting play from Franks, but they don't necessarily have bad archers all the way up through until the end of Castle Age, so it's not necessarily the worst type of play.
Well, Ericles has a good point here. So he can maybe transition into Pike plus Siege, and that most certainly makes sense. If you add spears early on and keep them alive, you could use them for that kind of push. So I'm
absolutely
all with you on that. Yeah.
That power spike is also especially strong for spearmen versus pikemen. If you get in right as they upgrade into an engagement with, say, knights, it's going to be a big change in opinion on how those knights can take care of them.
So military numbers now, Nordigar up to 10, that's 5 spears and the rest being scouts and 1 archer. He picks off one of Andy's scouts here. Andy is walling, as we said, that's definitely an option. So there's one opening at the woodland here, but that's no biggie because it goes kind of straight towards the TC, even though you could damage the lumberjacks here a bit. But so it looks like Andy is aiming for Castle Age already.
Absolutely. We do see an archery range coming out from both players, with the Franks having 2 archery ranges. The Mongol player is probably going for an archery range just to get some skirmishers out to counter these archers that he's surely scouted by now. A good pick on a scout from these spear lines. They're taking a lot of damage from this single archer unit. He's surely got his worth out of that unit. This is a really interesting push from all of these spears, and this is truly, I mean, this is what trash units can do to somebody with a mismanaged or misplaced eco.
It's certainly causing idle time here. It's like 10, 12, 14 idles now for Andy. And that's Bess is up. I was assuming he would click Castle Age, but he's missing the gold. So that's a huge deal here.
Absolutely, and he's definitely going, Nordegard's going over on wood, which is an interesting choice, while Andy is going very hard into the stone early on. We'll probably see just that early castle drop to get the Mangudai out in early Castle Age, but the issue is that it looks like he's only got 2 villagers on this gold pile. Obviously, they've been attacked, but I would have moved over to this northern gold pile already if I had Castle Age on the mind.
So to Andy's unfortunate, both of the gold piles are somewhat within range of these few archers that are out. They don't even have fletching, by the way, so it might have been kind of I don't know what's the play. There's 2 ranges here, so maybe that was just to speed up the production and spend some wood that he had in his bank, but the blacksmith goes up now, so let's see what he goes for, Nordigar. And he certainly wants his castle up, because if he gets a castle up on the hill by the pond to kind of the southeast of his base, then he can cover both the stone and gold there.
Absolutely, and that forward gold pile, that hill right to the south of those, might be a pivotal moment in the later game of this, in the later part of this game. We see that it's directly in between of the line between both bases. Even the auto pathing from these archers is going to guide them directly past those piles. Getting a defensive castle down there is going to be extremely vital in cutting off any type of forward aggression from Nordic.
Well, there's some very ambitious walling going on here. He knows that his opponent has army out, so that's not gonna go up just yet.
Absolutely. A brave sacrifice from the villager. Will he get the wall on this woodline? This woodline's been overchopped. It's extremely dangerous if these archers can get in. Even if the scout gets in, he won't be able to wall. These skirmishers come forward. They try to challenge the archers. We'll see
look
if
at this
maybe
pathing just running into the villagers and scouts.
Absolutely.
It's a mess.
It looks like he maybe got 3 javelins off before they said, I don't think I want to take that fight.
Yeah.
Backed off.
With a few more archers or a few more scouts, he could have taken the fight, because Andy doesn't have pledging. He is reaching castle age though, and that is not to be said about Nordigard, who is about to click up but hasn't done so yet.
Absolutely, and reaching castle age before your opponent even clicks is a really important thing to note. It's worth mentioning because he's going to have all of his upgrades for his castle age by the time that Nordigard even hits castle age. So that power spike is going to be especially powerful if Andy can capitalize on
And
it.
there's the castle, okay, it's fine, I guess. It covers even his gold in the back there, but he doesn't get any hill bonus, which he could have done with a more forward one, but he certainly covers. He even protects the woodline here, so I can see why he makes this decision, of course.
Absolutely. He will have to watch out from hill aggression, maybe from trebuchets on the top of these hills from later on in the game. That castle is not only within range, but also in kind of a dangerous spot when you start thinking about the longer range siege in Imperial Age.
Yeah, and that's a while forward just yet, so it makes sense. It defends a lot of the eco here and should
Absolutely.
secure him
100% worth it.
temporarily. So the builder's going straight back to gold now. Makes sense. Will we see Mangodai straight away? Yeah. But he's also taking into light cab actually. So is it for the raiding potential? I mean, he has a few scouts out.
It is an interesting play because we've seen just how ambitious Nordigard can be with this spear production. It's possible that he's trying to just maybe overwhelm the Frank's player, who is only on 1 barracks right now.
Yeah. So here's one market denied by these now light cav, and of course, come to think of it, they can counter skirms, which will be made against Mangodai, so of course that's a reasonable choice to take into just right away, because you'll need them.
Absolutely. The interesting thing is, as Nordigard gets to the castle age, I've seen Mangodai Light Cav before, and I've seen it quite often, honestly, but I wonder if there is maybe a more perfect composition with the Mangodai, just simply because the Mangodai are maybe a little bit too fast, and the Light Cav are just so weak to any type of projectile damage. When skirmishers can get into a large enough mass, they can even challenge Light Cav up until they get their Hussar upgrade.
Yeah.
So
it is using the Light Cav as a distraction here, because he's having the scout and crossbows of Nordigard chase his Light Cav, where the Mangodai run in at some other spot and get some builder picks here. So could be just a smart kind of diversion for now.
Pulling out right before he takes any losses from these crossbows. It's very good micro from Andy as he backs up. He's just got 1 Mangodai right on 7 HP as these crossbows come out. I don't think Andy can see where he's coming out on the wall here. Surely he's seen it by now. No, he's just outside the fog of war, so He doesn't know that he's right in range. As those crossbows take one volley, they miss the whole volley.
Let's see, what minute are you at, just to synchronize?
I am at 27:28
okay, yeah,
currently.
so we're pretty synchronized. I'm just a few seconds ahead. So Andy pulled back. I'm curious to see that he teched into light cab, but he has no upgrades whatsoever on the Mangadai. Surely he must have a blacksmith. He does. But now the Mangadai protecting his own siege. He could get a good hit in here. He did. Damages quite a few crossbows here. But nice.
Absolutely,
split.
that hill advantage is going to keep Nordegaard away from getting some major losses on this Mangonel. And even on just one crossbow hit, they've taken out a Mangonel. That's a 135 gold unit that is now completely taken off the map. And I believe it's only got one kill. Yeah. Unless you count, of course, the health loss from all of these crossbows.
He weakened a lot, but he didn't get more than one kill as far as I could see. Now a Scorpion is added instead, and makes sense. It's more cost effective. You need maybe more masses, but you could weaken the units even more, and then maybe send the Mangodai in to finish them off.
Very good micro taking out these skirmishers with these archers on this hill. Important thing when you're crossbows versus skirmishers, you want to keep the skirmisher numbers low. Any type of skirmishers can challenge crossbows, but obviously when you have more numbers, it's much more dangerous. Low numbers of skirmishers are actually relatively easy to handle depending on the positioning of those skirmishers. We do see a little bit of forward aggression from these knights on the siege workshop as the Mangadai are now in Nordegaard's base, taking out nothing actually, surprisingly enough. No bill picks.
Yeah, he needs to focus at home now, I think, because the crossbows broke in through the palisades and Nordegaard is now on the opposite. It even looks like it might just be the numbers, but it kind of looks like he's already got ballistics. There's the university, so it's likely that he does. Yep.
Absolutely.
One-shotting the vills
now. Behind in 4 vills now. And these crossbows are going to be really good at taking out these vills. And the idols for Andy, 17 idols, that's going to be a big thing no matter how long they see this. And I am looking on the fog of war. He cannot see that this town center is going down. Now he sees it. He comes around. He might be able to deny it. I don't think he will be able to deny it. No. It goes up. The garrisons, all these crossbows are going to go down.
Boy.
This is a bad situation for Nordegaard. And Andy has completely switched around the game. This is a brand new game for Andy moving forward. He can use these Mangadai completely unchallenged here. I do think in Nordegaard to have a chance, we'll have to go for a tech switch.
Yeah,
I do agree.
Can't
very impressive play.
He's adding crossbows still for some strange reason. We will see the tech switch, I don't doubt it. But this defense for Andy here, adding this panic TC with so many villagers being both idled and building, but he secures from archers anyway, secures them the wood line and the gold here on the side. So good job there.
Absolutely, and that force, while it wasn't especially big, it was enough to challenge these Mangadai if it had been outside the base. So taking care of that force with the crossbows being so slow to produce and get back up to a force that's worth challenging anything, I think it's really worth it that he took out a lot of those villagers. Almost worth a Mangonel shot.
Yeah, that's the thing. Ericles is pointing it out as well, that I think Nordegaard did great. Those crossbows got their value in for sure, and they did, because they got 5, 6, 7 villager kills. They got the Mangonel earlier, and the TC went up, but imagine the idle time. I mean, Nordegaard should be in a better spot. He's had much less idle time. He has more villagers still, and even a little bit more villager, and the KD is pretty similar, so I would suspect Nordegaard to have a more balanced eco, and from the looks of it, he does. He's definitely setting up for a nice switch here now. Is lots of food and gold, or even imp he could be going for actually.
Absolutely, dropping another town center right here in the front of his base, trying to secure, it looks like, a forward wood line. As these back wood lines run out, he won't be able to gather from this forward one without jeopardizing the safety of his base. So not only that, it looks like he has a hole in the back of his base next to his market, maybe not realized. These Mangadai breaking in now. not getting any kills. This is really interesting. It looks like he did get one right at the
Yeah, I
edge of
think
the
he got one.
palisades.
Huh.
Running right past these crossbows, losing 3 Mangudai focus fire from these crossbows. That's actually a really good trade, not taking any losses on the army forces from Nordegard, who obviously has the superior advantage in micro ability in this game.
So we see
Very good stutter steps, very good hail.
Andy is
Go
taking
ahead.
into ballistics just now, so Nordigar's had that for a long while for his crossbows, and he's taking into elite skirm as well, so he wants to have the ability to defend against the Mangudai that are to come, but he should also probably know that Nordigar already only has one castle for now, so the Mangudai production is going to be limited, which means elite skirms is even a better addition, because once you get the kill, it's harder to replenish.
And ballistics just came in for these Mangudai. That's going to make them a lot more dangerous to Nordegard. It's going to make them, these villagers, unable to run away. It's going to make these crossbows unable to dodge. This is shaping up to be a really interesting engagement. These Mangudai coming back, running almost directly into the crossbows once again.
Yeah, and also the TC fire. So they are tanking some fire here now. They will go down, might a few. He might save them, but they will be very weak. He doesn't have an escape here. If there isn't a hole here next to the market, then he's in trouble.
It doesn't look like it. Surely he would have pathed out by now.
Yeah.
It looks like an open space, but I suppose it's not. Maybe room for that staircase that's just barely visible in the model. All these Mangudai just going to get absolutely cleaned up.
There, 1, 2, 3,
that's
4,
a
5.
very
That's
good engagement.
7 or 8 Mangudai down to crossbows. Imagine the cost efficiency here. Crossbows are cheaper by far. So if he wants to stick with the Mangudai, he needs more castles. It's as simple as that.
Looking here on the front edge here, Nordegard has successfully gotten one of his very cheap castles up here, challenging the gold mine here from Andy. Looks like Nordegard got to Imperial Age first, so we're going to see a Treb War knocking this castle down, creating the Mangudai. This is his only castle, it looks like.
And there's already the hill bonus as well for Frank's player here. So this should
100%.
be... He actually engages just the one Treb because he has the hill and he has skirps and castle fire to protect. So this is going to be very, very tough for Addy to fight back with only 10% castle age, no, Imperial Age. Looks like one hit is actually doing 500 damage here to the castle because of the hill bonus. So once the second trap gets out, this is bad news for Randy.
Absolutely. It looks like it's going to be just maybe 7 volleys from this trebuchet, and that castle is going to crumble. That's going to leave only about 15, maybe 16 if he can rush it. Mangudai on the field, unless he can get another castle up. Now that, it looks like he does have another castle up coming up on the north end here. North end of the base, his extra sneaky little expansion over here. But that's still going to be a big problem. Obviously that stone could have gone to an offensive castle, could have gone to a castle to bolster the side.
And
it's going to be an issue for these.
Seems to be fleeing a bit to that side now. He's secured a bit of the castle. There's more work to be taken here. He's trying to expand a bit now because his home base is gonna suffer. There's actually another castle going up at his home base now.
Absolutely, taking this engagement on these skirmishers, this is a really interesting engagement to jump into. Obviously, if you can focus fire these skirmishers, you can take them out by one, but you are going to be taking a lot of damage from these chemistry, fletching, all their upgrades, excuse me, not fletching, ballistics, all their upgrades from the Imperial Age. It's going to be an issue. Obviously, Franks don't get Thumb Ring. They don't, I believe, get the final attack upgrade for their archers, which is Brace.
Yeah, you're probably right here. I'm not going to check it right now, but look at this defensive castle in Andy's home base. It will go down to 3 traps as well. I don't think he can save this. It's not even worth the repairs. He just needs to relocate. Look at all these builds just fleeing now away from its home base. This is just lost. So that even with the population load, that sets him back a lot.
I completely agree, and I think that this is starting to look very dire for Andy. Even if he is able to reestablish in this north corner, the position that Nordgaard is in is just maybe too strong to have a chance to fight with this. Now we do see Mangadai in Nordegaard's base down here, taking a couple snipes on villagers, forcing some idle time. Is it going to be enough though, where he could be clearing other bases? I don't think Andy has scouted that this wood line here next to this castle is being farmed, which would be a very good target.
Let's see. Yeah, so Andy has very good scouting overall, but he, like you said, he doesn't see the wood line next to the castle you mentioned, so his damage he can do is limited. And with the cheap Frank castles, Nordegaard can already afford even 2 more castles, I believe. He's very close to anyway, so he can secure his base from Angular Fair since that's a ranged unit. And strictly speaking, from idle time, Nordegaard has had a lot, but also Andy has also moved 40 villagers to the east side, which doesn't show up as idle while they're walking, but they are in fact idle when they are walking. So idle time is also
now. It is very
here.
worth noting. If you go onto the Fog of War on Nordegaard's perspective, and it looks like Nordegaard does not see Andy's expansion whatsoever. So in Nordegaard's opinion, he's about to defeat in detail, but that is not true of Andy's eco. It's been relocated to this north end of the map, almost entirely back up and running, and defended.
So it's only a matter of
we'll
time before he will notice it, because he says there's nothing left in Andy's base, and he still has a decent score. The Mango Day and Light Cab are out. He knows that he's able to produce somehow, so he has to scout this. It's as simple as that. And one skirm is now going to the northeast side. Sees a stable. We'll probably see more very soon.
Absolutely, a Mangadai coming out. Scout Cavalry coming out. We'll see if he takes care of that skirmisher before he gets in on his espionage mission. This engagement on the front line, these trebuchets going down, these skirmishers and archers, a couple halberdiers from Nordegaard desperately trying to defend these trebuchets, but it looks like Andy's might with these Mangadai has just gone too far, and all these trebuchets are going to be lost.
Yeah, that's a huge economic loss there, these trebs, but I'm surprised to see that Andy is still in the population lead as well. His expansion to the north has worked out very well. He even has gold here. He has, only thing he has, is that stone? No, he has stone as well. He's running out of it, but this is still kind of even, all things considered. So that move to the northeast side is ingenious actually, because it took Nordegaard so long to notice it.
Absolutely. This is why it's very important in the later stages of the game to start building outposts, to start scouting very aggressively so that this kind of situation can't happen. Andy is completely reestablished in the northeast side, so if Nordegaard wants to defeat him, he will have to do all of what he did moments ago again against a larger army, more protected economy, and it's a much longer road to walk. Now Andy's picking up relics all across the map. We'll see if he can get him back to this monastery. I can't spot where this monastery.
There's one kind of in the middle of the map here, midwest, so to speak. So it's quite close to Nordegaard's castle foundation, actually.
That must be, it is the only monastery. He's got a relic in there now, and I actually heard like 3 monks pick up relics.
So, but we see Nordegaard here is assuming control of the map a bit still, with more castles on the hills, so it limits Andy's forwarding a bit, but he certainly needs to push back very soon, until unless he can't allow Andy to boom back into the game, because Mongols do have very, very strong late game.
100%, and this Frank player just got a castle, this forward castle denied by...
Yeah, so it's a 79% away, and Myself writes, attacking a monster is a shame. True enough. Cavaliers.
I just want to make sure we're synced. My stream of yours has gone back now. I'm a couple minutes back on the stream of yours, so you are at about 53 minutes now, correct?
Let's see,
52,
there's 53
55.
here. There's 53, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're about a second behind me. Perfect.
Yeah, that should be. I think we've been decently synchronized. So, alright, looking at villager count, population count. So Andy has the population lead by 15 here now. He has a bit more military. The villager counts are pretty much the same. It's 6 villagers difference. That's not that huge a deal in the late game. But look at Andy expanding to the right hand side here. He's just walking all around the clock here. He's going to the east and then towards the. Yeah.
Absolutely, taking almost a 10 villager lead here, whereas earlier in the game when this game was looking so one-sided, he was down almost 20 villagers. So it looks like Andy might be able to completely recover this game and pull out a win here. Very surprising with how strong the Frank player was.
I would argue that Frank cav raids could accomplish a lot up in the north here though. These farms are, if you disregard the castles, they are very exposed. This is a boom in the north. It's just ridiculous. You could get so many picks if you send a notable amount of
The issue is can those Frank cavalry catch the Mangudai when those Mangudai decide that they want to hunt those cavalry down? And I think the answer is no, and there's not much the Frank player can do other than spam a friend of mine's favorite unit, the Skirmisher. So
it turns out the monster going down. Actually, is that the one with the relics? I guess it is. No, there's another one.
That is the one with the relic.
So the one with the relic goes down, but Andy has another monastery up, so he needs to secure them once again, I think, if he can. So
absolutely, and these Mangudai are doing a really good job microing away these knights.
It's impressive play here.
Them into a choke point. This is the importance of micro and why Mongols are such a strong player. The stackableness of Mangudai, where they can all attack. They're fast moving. They're just an extremely strong unit, and I don't think that the Frank player has anything at his disposal to take care of the late game full spam if Andy can actually.
I would argue that heavy scorpions might be able to take a decent, but there's still a maneuver with the speed, so that won't work that well on the open map. But let's see, this castle might be in danger, but there's only one trap, and the Mangudai will focus down this one, surely. They're not elite though, so that says a little bit of an Andy's setback in eco. He hasn't prioritized the eco, he's prioritized numbers and upgrades otherwise.
Absolutely, the score is almost dead even now, an hour into the game after such a one-sided beginning. It's very, very fun game to watch. This very sad, a bombard cannon going down there by the Mangudai on Nordegard's side, while these Cavalier just chase down these light cav while they're barraged by these Mangudai. Halberdiers coming in to their deaths.
And we have the right-hand side, southeast as well. I'm not sure whether Nordegard has noticed that castle or not. That could be a expectation bug. But now he sees it, obviously, because there's a treb firing away. But Nordegard has a treb on his own. He has 2, I think. One is hidden behind the castle. So he should challenge this castle, I think.
100%. Now, the important thing here is that he is going to lose this monastery 100%, maybe even the town center as well. And that is going to let the Mangudai that could come streaming out of this castle later on have free reign on this village.
Yeah, with questionable decisions here, because the trap in the southeast, it's focusing on the TC rather than the castle that you should know is here by now, because there were traps there. So this is bad news for Nordegard, that keeping this castle up will allow production, I believe, from Andy. He's currently producing only from the castles in the north, but it has to be dealt with, surely. There's golden stone here.
Absolutely. These are some of the last few gold piles with lots of resources in it. Last few stone piles as well with lots of resources in it. You want to protect this area. Allowing this castle to stay standing is a big mistake on Nordegard's part.
Yeah, but the castles are going down. I think this southeast one will go down as well. That leaves Andy with soon to be only one castle if the northwestish one goes down. It has only 299 HP after all. But let's look at Nordegard's res. Andy has more res in the bag. No, he doesn't anymore actually. But he's taking elite Mangudai, which is possibly questionable because he won't be able to replenish them easily. So I think
Absolutely, and there is a force from Nordegard coming out on this western side, taking out the defensive castle here that we had on the to the left of these stables. Now there's enough skirmishers here and halberdiers here that he's gonna have to bring over the entire force if he wants to challenge this.
Yep.
If he cared to defend his trebuchets.
Yeah. This is really bad news here. 2 tribes going down to 3 light cab, possibly. At least 1. Still incredible value for 3 light cab to take out 1 trap here.
Absolutely. Very good engagement coming out here on the right side, just switching over. Mangudai taking out skirmishers and halberdiers that tried to assault these trebuchets, taking out at least one of them. This castle might go down. He's got a lot of villagers that are repairing it. It looks like it is slowly losing health.
The cavalry is coming out of the stables and they do 1 trap, deal with both traps actually. Very good job there. Even if he loses them to Mangudai, that's value.
Absolutely.
Akkal-AOE says he would like to see some raiding into anti-sequel, and that's exactly what he is kind of doing. There's 1 cab here, maybe he should consider sending in light cab instead or something, just to pick off most villagers possible here. But Andy is now down to 86 villager, Nordegard has 105. 105, you can resign again. But we're not quite there yet.
I think it's really worth noting, I do agree with Alkner here. I think that Andy's base is extremely unprotected for this stage of the game. Any type of mounted units, cavalry, are going to be able to march right in there and start causing issue, which is going to have to take some of his resources, some of his Mangudai, some of his trash units to take care of and split his focus between several fronts and create a lot of stress for Andy, even if it isn't as effective as they want it to be.
So it needs to be said now, Andy is down to 1 castle. He is producing more Mangudai from it. He actually cancelled elite Mangudai in favor of other resources, which I think is a good move. Because he's losing his castles, but he is in a rough spot now. He doesn't have any stone left. He can't make more castles unless he buys them. And here's the light cav raiding Andy. No, sorry. Here's the light cav from Andy. Lots of them actually. I was confusing the colors for a bit there.
Absolutely, there is a little bit of Nordegard's light cav coming in on the north side, but they will be immediately cleaned up by a huge light cavalry force from Andy in his north base, while these Mangudai take care of the skirmishers and halberdiers assaulting from the bottom. Now this castle is taking some trebuchet fire, but that trebuchet is going to be cheese here in a minute when they take care of all these skirmishers guarding it and then eventually focus down.
I can barely even see the trap behind the stables here, but it's going down to 1 light cav again, so there wasn't really anything to defend it here. Kind of a questionable move, but Nordegard is still very much in the population lead here. He has 50 more villagers now, he has slightly more military, he has just a larger population overall. And that's going to play into his favor in the long game, because his eco is just that much more stable at this moment.
Absolutely. It's also worth noting that Nordegard has pulled ahead almost 2k now in the score. And that's a really big score when the game has been so close the whole time. A really big score lead.
Yeah, I think that has to be eco and upgrades mainly, because castles lost, of course, because castles play a lot into the score, and Andy has been losing castles. That's essentially, I think, 350 points or whatnot per castle, so that would make sense. That he's losing castles, he's losing points, because the KD is quite similar.
Absolutely.
But Nordegard has the huger population, more production, more res in the bank.
Absolutely. It's starting to look dire again for Andy. He's starting to let his weaknesses show on the lack of defense around his home eco. We've seen it early in this game, and we're seeing it again later in this game, that when pushed to his base, the lack of walls, the lack of defense, the lack of presence that these Mangudai have on these tankier units when they're in groups isn't quite enough to defend.
So, and there's also the question about Andy may actually even be running out of wood access eventually, because now there's only the wood line to the northwest that is mentionable in terms of what should we say, sustainability.
100%. I will say Andy has almost 10k wood currently, so it's worth noting that he will not need wood.
Well, makes sense.
I think he may have been stockpiled.
The thing is, there's not any other resources
right.
to take, so he would need it to a transition farm, so to sell it. There's a little bit of gold here, but I think I mean to say that the map is slowly running out of resources, and that's gonna play more into Norwegian's favor at this point, who has a more stable, varied economy, I would say.
Absolutely, I think so as well. The Mongols are a strong early game, early castle, even into late castle game unit, but they start flopping, they start getting weaker as the games get longer, just because they don't have the resources that other civs have with a strong, extremely strong unit like the Frank Paladins to fall back on should things go awry.
So Andy holds on here, but it's been mentioned in chat that the last castle of Andy is down. He could of course sell wood and buy stone and get more castle stuff, but that's hardly sustainable in the late game. So, and he doesn't have elite, that's also been pinpointed. So once he starts to lose Mangudai, this is game loss for Andy, I think. Yeah.
I also agree. It looks like these Mangudai are just kind of holding off the zombie hordes right now, and there is no hope in recovering this. He is completely surrounded on all four sides. There is no hope of escape for villagers this time around. It looks like they have been caught.
So another forward castle from Norwegian. He is out. No, he's not out of zone. Sorry, he has nearly stone for another castle actually, but he's just pushing more and more and taking the map control, killing Mangudai. He can still produce, which he does. He's producing cavaliers and traps, and even taking paladin, man. He's killed the paladin tech. This is like the time to resign moment, I think, when that kicks in after a few minutes.
Absolutely, yeah. This is the and we see it in his place here. The Hidden Cup 3 time to drop a castle in your base play.
Castle almost denied, but it's up. Traps are gonna take care of production buildings here, and should be looking at the GG soon, I suppose. I mean, how are Mongol pikemen and non-elite Mangudai gonna handle paladins? So I don't really see it.
Absolutely. And the numbers for these Mangudai are just not strong enough to take care of paladins efficiently enough once they get their upgrades. With forward castles, he is taking care of this very first forward castle by Nordegard, but there's another one backing it up. I don't think these Rams are going to have enough gas in the tank to get through all of these buildings and eventually get to this castle. We see a trebuchet coming out from Nordegard. Hopefully will be focused down by these Mangudai. That is probably the best use for them, but it looks like it gets away for now.
There we go, a few paladins in, but look at how many arrows for the Mangudai can tank. That's half a paladin for 25 Mangudai. So if Nordegard gets a few paladins out here, maybe match the Mangudai numbers, then he can take the fight easily.
Absolutely. And he's already taken care of part of the equation, which is cornering the Mangudai. They're in a corner. You just need the numbers to get close to them now.
I mean, even Halbs will do the job against Mangudai if they can attack it close. So, It's just a slow push for now. He needs to eliminate the army numbers, and that's the GG. So, because the military numbers are even at this moment.
Absolutely. Coming in with a really strong, ambitious push from a couple of paladins. They're going to get focused down. These halberdiers stuck around these choke points that Andy has so cleverly put up totally purposefully earlier on in the game. These Mangudai are actually pulling out their worth quite a bit. We see more rams coming up to challenge these skirmishers, this trebuchet, and these castles. This might be a long one.
Yeah, and he's really holding on well. He needs to deserve credit for that, but he is pushed up in the corner, so this... I feel like this can just go on for so long, because the map will run out of rest, and then the play with villager high and less deaths overall. He might fall, but actually Andy has more kills, but yeah.
And it looks like this forward castle will go down if these halberdiers cannot clear these rams.
Question is, can Andy afford to get some raids in somehow, because Nordgar's eco is also exposed. So it is an option, but I think he just has too much to handle at home. We can't really afford to send the army forward the way it looks now.
Absolutely. This is definitely one of those moments where you want to have your focus entirely on one thing, because messing up at this stage in the game means resigning, means losing. So
Even the light car bar is so tanky with the full upgrades against arrow fire. It's kind of an impressive watch. There's the GG gold. So very good one here, very even overall. But it's
absolutely
Nordigar's
very
win in the end.
close game.
So let's see.
Now I jumped in on game 2. Who won the first game between these two?
This was Nordigar's home map, so the score is now 1-1. So we will have a third game.
Absolutely. Now, this is a very interesting set. Both players are very even at different parts of the game. So I think the third game could be just as interesting.
So I'm going to tap over to the other screen here to pull up the... Oh, right, I'm going to show the stats again first, and then I'm going to tap over to the other screen. I may or may not hear you. I tried to set it up so they do, but we'll just have to see. It's just to hide any potential spoilers for not really this game, but other games to come. So just not show the recorded games screen.
Absolutely. Now we are just moving on to game 3, Nordigard and Andy. Sorry, I just want to narrate so I don't select the wrong one.
Sure. Actually, 1800 relic gold for Andy, so he had more relics, more relic gold in the end. He had a real high. He did a really good job defending, but he was never really able to forward enough in the late castle or the late imp. So here we go. Let's pull up game 3. There it is. So we have Sahara. I'm just gonna add some commands here. I'm gonna pause it for a bit and just add the map commands and stuff. So let's go here. Alright, I'm at like 6 seconds here, so that should be alright. Are you ready to go? Alright, so here we go. Press and play. So here we are, Nordigar picking Byzantines for Sahara. I don't think we've seen that pick ever in my casts of the Desert Cup so far, so that's very cool to see. And we have Andy in the blue playing as Cumans, as if he's been used to his success on this map multiple times from our casts so far. So look at Sahara, this map with very spread out wood lines. You have wood lines somewhat close to your base, so you have the access, but then there's the huge desert area in the middle playing in where you have to kind of fight for the hills and the resources. So it's I'm looking forward to this. The players actually spawned quite close. So what do you think, Teaspoon?
electricity, salvage history tracks. I'm sure the tides have a mind of their own.
All your problems wrapped up in a pretty bow.
Not all of them. And not as long as you continue to
But what
explore
happened? Did I lose my
supposedly
co-caster?
frivolous economy.
Something made you bother.
I don't think you find your story.
Well, assuming Miss Clark has indeed met her fate, there's only one person alive who can refute it.
Jack Porter.
No way!
Grayson, there's a Mr. Trax on line 2 for you. Says he's the new liaison for Helen Crowley's investigation.
Right, sounds like you're back. Yeah, I hear you now. That's good.
I understand you'll be taking over for Helen Crowley. So far as a woman like Helen can't be in the place. I'm sure she's all right. She didn't know her experience pastors. She always spoke quite highly of you, which is why we elected to keep our business first and quo. I appreciate that.
Check your inbox for purchase requests.
There we go. Makes sense. So I was just commenting a little bit about that and said, among other things, that well, I've introduced the civs and the players again, but I also noted that the spawns I would say are quite close here, both to the right hand side. So that could be interesting to see how it plays out. What do you think?
See you're drinking a coffee Irish this morning. What do you want, Alice? I want another bite of the apple. Back when you became CEO, you told me you're keeping in mind in the unlikely event that a seat opened up on your board of directors. Now it seems that that unlikely event is your father's playthrough governor's mansion. I want to count on the success of that campaign. Successful or not, the fact remains that there's now an open seat on the board. You still won. I like to think that I earned it. If you recall, I was the one who brought you Melkor. Without that deal, we may not have been able to steer this company back on a path toward profitability.
I think we managed to stay on that path just fine without you.
Yep.
I assume you're referencing stuff.
So they dodge each other. I don't think there was any damage or anything at all. No, they're fine. So I'm closing in on 5:30, just as you know. Just timing 5:30 there. Could be good to know.
Sorry, you spoke to Possum. Yeah, I threw myself out to some reason.
So Andy sheep scouting to the left hand side here. If Nordigard by any chance moves his scout in that direction, he might snipe a sheep there. So laming is generally not allowed, but sheep laming is okay. Deer laming actually as well if you can pull it off.
I swear, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, Nordigard seems to have found Woodland, wants to harass the villager a bit. He could, yeah, well, he won't get killed, but he would get some good damage here. Damn it!
It's going to be very, very weak.
Oh boy.
Now, it doesn't look like any harass came out from...
Overlay
Excuse
was
me, never
removed.
mind.
No, I wasn't showing the game. That's really, really bad. Alright, thanks to Akkal for notifying. Now they can actually see the map here and hear both you and me, so we might need to...
Oh, wonderful!
We might need to repeat some stuff here, so...
Yeah, we can just restart if you want.
Nah, just go ahead with it. It's I think they go to wow. Now let's just keep going. Let's see. Nordigard is already securing his woodland here. He's trapping Andy's scout, is he? To the north.
Absolutely, that is a trap from these gates. It's a pretty decent one too. These villagers are gonna be when a palisade comes out, that scout is not gonna be moving for a very long time. The gates can go down now. The TC free to farm around it, and that is very bad for Andy. Even a lot of players don't realize that if you go scouts and your scout gets killed, obviously you're going to be one scout less on your aggression, so it's going to be an issue.
Yep. So nice little tractor.
see
It's been mentioned
the
that it's a waste
immediate
of wood.
TC get dropped from Andy on the south side. I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
I was just saying that it's been commented by the chat that it's a waste of wood, and I kind of agree. But it also blinds your opponent, so I approve. Oh, look at if you caught that, Nordigar, is the scout actually blocked the barracks foundation of Andy. It was just beautiful.
I didn't see it, but I do believe it because Nordigard has shown that he has a pretty good understanding of what is the systems in the game and what he can do. He's very good at micro, as we saw in the last game, and obviously right there we can see that he understands the interesting bits of blocking foundations and stuff like that.
So the barracks is down for Andy as well. I don't think he knows about his opponent going for barracks, but he surely expects it with the options for Byzantines with cheap trash. Even 2 villagers going forward here could be. Yeah, I don't know what the play is. Could be towers, could be forward buildings production. I don't know. So not optimal for Cubans to play against Byzantines, considering their cheap trash like the pikes and whatnot. Makes it easier.
I think so as well. We do see a tower going down from Nordigard right on top of this gold line. That's going to show Andy exactly where he could have placed that TC to maybe make it a little bit safer for those villagers on that gold pile.
So you would have wanted TC on the wood line instead? Is that the idea, or further away, or what's?
Maybe slightly further away, in fact, because
Yep.
this TC is going to be able to range this, or this tower is going to be able to TC. Wow, this tower is going to be able to range this TC from a pretty early on time period, and to range the tower from the TC, you're going to have to get idle time from these villagers. So either way, it's a win from the tower player.
So it does kind of look like he will need fletching here to reach the TC, but I may be mistaken. But there's not really anything.
He will need fletching to reach the TC. The issue is if this tower stays standing in feudal or even up until Castle Age, it could be an issue for those gold miners when he is wanting to build knights later on.
So Andy Scout has either, yeah, it's died, I guess. And a few archers for Andy here, probably just to harass a bit on the woodlands or anything. I don't think they have any upgrades. No, they don't. And the full wall is nearly complete for Andy. There is an opening next to the stone pile here, I believe, on the left-hand side of his walls. So that needs to be dealt with. But otherwise, he has his 2 TC boom going. He's already 3 to 4 villagers ahead.
Absolutely, and with idols, that's going to be a pretty big lead of around 7 villagers if you include the idols that he has currently. So
interesting to see how
Andy-
Nordigar puts an outpost then down here inside. Wants to, I guess it's a way of scouting, I guess, to get some intel on whatever is inside.
Absolutely, I think he might be testing to see if maybe there is a wood line on that like a lumber camp on that wood line. Maybe see if it's a viable point of attack for minerals for a tower without the investment of going across or building an actual tower. Of course, I could be wrong about that.
Well, the thing with this outpost, it allows him vision on the gold to the side, which is one of Andy's neutral gold. No, not neutral golds, but one of his side golds, and then he will know when Andy decides to go for that. Andy, for now, only has control of his main gold, which will last only so long.
100%. Now this tower, it looks like, is going to be able to just barely range anybody who goes and tries to attack these villagers that are building over here. As he gets more archers over here, it's going to be an issue because they can use this tower almost as a landing base, jumping in and out for healing while they take care of skirmishers.
And there's also one thing I didn't think about, that this tower, it certainly counters the option for Andy to full wall this side, because villagers just won't be able to So that might be the
Absolutely.
idea by placing it there actually, because it denies kind of wood and gold-ish, but mainly it denies walls. So that could have been an idea behind it, I guess.
And it is very important as a when you are playing against archer players, obviously to wall them out. Maybe even more so than scouts, simply because uh, if you wall them out, they have to pick less optimal spots to attack. They're always in a more dangerous spot, and they're not inside your base, causing a lot of trouble while you're producing units. So you kind of can choose the method of attack instead of being on the back foot the entire time.
So looking a bit of upgrades here, that's 5 unupgraded skirms against 4 archers with fletching. So if there come more archers forward, these skirms are never a threat until they get upgrades, I would say. But let's see, it's only one range for now, and a forward stable, so it's going to be a mix of units here for Nordic, I guess. And he can't really allow the human player to just boom away in feudal and gain his equal lead. He needs to try and do some damage. I see him scouting the south wood line here now. Archers can certainly range this wood.
Absolutely, these villagers going around, it looks like they might be able to get a tower, perhaps a tower, perhaps an outpost on these stone and gold just outside of the wall, cutting off even more resources. In fact, though, I think he might be going for the wood line on the south side, completely
so.
forgetting
That's a
these.
beautiful tower spot there in the closest bit there, because it will effectively deny the whole wood line, honestly. So that's
Absolutely, and that will force him to move to the wood line that already has a tower on it. So it could be a really important thing, and we do see a broken wall from these skirmishers moving forward. He realizes that this is a moment that he's going to have to counter if it's going to be an issue. We do see a siege workshop coming up on the front end of the base of Andy. Surely it'll be a ram or a mangonel coming out there immediately. We do see a ram. He wants to take care of these towers. It's really important to take care of these towers as soon as you can. Feudal age humans get extra resources essentially to do that because they don't have to wait until Castle Age to take care of trushes. But it's really important you do it before they take a foothold, and these towers can be used as essentially landing points for melee units that can take care of your rams. So it's really important. We do see a tower coming up from the Byzantines down here on the south, a gold mine here on the left side, so it's possible that he didn't see these villagers come around the side here.
And they are reaching Castle Age at the same time, but we know that humans with a double TC, they have a huge villager spike already, and they could have been producing all the way up as well. So it's and this Castle Age is obviously a lot stronger than Nordic.
Absolutely, 15 villagers right now is the lead in Andy's favor. So we'll definitely see him capitalize on that in this early Castle Age, where he can produce freely, and Nordigard is still struggling for upgrades and units.
He's the ram battering away. It's actually being killed by archers and, well, a skirm here. So, actually, it doesn't succeed in taking his tower down just yet, and now crossbow is in for Nordigard here. But humans do get capped ram in Castle Age, so that should be a no-brainer to take out these towers, these towers here.
Absolutely, and that capped ram investment could be a really important investment here for the humans player. He could use those capped rams offensively, move directly across. It's very close, the spawn points between these two players, so it's not like you're losing a lot by investing into capped rams and then moving them across the map later on after your base is safe.
Yeah, another ram going in, only battering ram. Probably wants the food for villager and upgrades production, but I think he should be able to get the tower this time, because the archers were out of position. Some skirms here, they're
Absolutely.
not going to do much against the crossbow. Oh, right, he needs to bail again, but he's luring the spears towards his TDC here, so he could have gotten some kills from the Jabate there, but this is not a great fight for Andy here.
We do see a Mangonel coming in for the south. Is he going to get a shot on these skirmishers? No, it looks like these crossbows will be able to handle it themselves. The Mangonel is going to be trying to fire on these knights, not going to get a shot on them. The knights are quite damaged from these crossbows, putting volleys out. Now the knights have enough numbers, though. If they wanted to, they could jump in on these crossbows, easily take care of the pile.
Yeah, I think they should actually, because there are nearly... Okay, they're not even in numbers. There's 9 knights against some crossbows and spears. Should be possible to take a fight, but then the sneaky spears that are hard to focus down in the middle here is maybe just 1, 2, 3 spears, okay. So maybe he needs to stay away after all. And
Absolutely,
another
those
ram
spears
goes
will
down.
need to go down before he can take out these archers. Definitely a misspeak for me, but catching them out of position is not a good thing. All of these knights are going to be able to jump in, take them out very quickly. Now these archers are in danger as these knights move forward. Now all he's got to protect him is this Mangonel in the back line, while these archers fire volleys into these knights on this hill. Taking the hill advantage, he's going to have to back up. He's taking too many losses. These crossbows are going to maintain safety, and all the knights have accomplished is taking out the knights on the hill.
So I still love to see Andy adding Mangonel. Oh, the GG is called. Oh boy. Andy calls the GG.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, a bit surprised here. Well, his eco isn't optimal, I guess, all things considered. He's taken a few more losses, so I guess he had a plan that simply didn't work out this time.
Absolutely, and with this Mangonel firing on this TC down here, the crossbows being able to support that Mangonel, it's very hard to play from the back foot here, especially with that first TC being so incredibly close to the second TC. That Mangonel can just pull forward after the first destruction and continue the pressure, and from that point, it's definitely GG.
Yeah, chat is speculating whether he actually just simply had to go, Andy. We'll have to ask Andy about that, but it has to be said that Nordigar played the map really, really well as well. He took the wood line, which was kind of unfortunate for tower and archer range in the down south there, and this first early tower just making things a bit more complicated all the way as well. So, but I mean, there's just so much area to expand on here still, though. So we saw Andy flee in the last game, right? And he could have done so again, for sure.
Absolutely. I think this game was easily able to hold on to, just because this tower on the south end here was about to go down. That's a safe wood line right there. He has a safe wood line on the left side of his base and just outside of his base next to this gold line that he's on. So it's not the lack of resources that caused Andy to resign. I wonder if perhaps the strength of Nordegard's micro maybe intimidated Andy to a point where he thought that his knight commitment wasn't going to be able to effectively handle the
Yeah,
crossbows.
it could be that Andy also felt he was having an off day. We all have good days and bad days, and if he felt like, I can't return from this, I'm a bit demoralized from losing the last game, having the potentially superior Civ. It's all speculation, but yeah, we won't get an answer from any other than the player himself. So,
Absolutely.
but still a good game,
It was a
good
very
set.
good game. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna browse through the stats here, and we'll find another set to cast. Myself, he said that his game against Wade was much more entertaining than his game against Live Corvo, so I guess we'll be moving on to myself versus Wade in a moment. So you could just prepare it if you want to.
Okay. Yeah, I will do that.
One from the guy in the trash asking me to step up in foreign investment.
And the other?
Other than that, I feel about sour Jason crossbows.
When's one of them?
One of you guys just
So
maybe use one of them.
just gonna toggle the other screen for a moment. Very soon, just browsing through the stats here. So here we go. Return to replays, and we said myself Wade game number 1 here. So I'm just opening it, I'm gonna pause it. Now also remember the overlay, and I need to switch the score stuff here.
All right, I don't think they can hear me now that the screen
No,
is
it's back.
starting
You're
soon.
back. It's back. I have the game screen back, so it should be fine. I am ready. I am at 3 seconds. I'm ready to start whenever you're up for it.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
So I'm just gonna do a quick introduction here. We have myself playing in the green as Aztecs. It's we know by now that I am Aztecs is myself's favorite Civ, and it's playing against Wade in the blue here, who's also picked Aztecs. So we actually have an Aztec mirror on our hands on Arabia as the game one in this set.
This is a pure Age of Conquerors matchup here. The only difference here is maybe one of the players, maybe it should be a Mayans matchup. Mirror matchups are really, they used to be very, very popular back in the day. And so you might see some strategies that you don't really see in a lot of games in today's age.
And trust me, seeing myself play, his games are never the same. He doesn't have any builds, he just impresses on the go solo. So he definitely plays on some unorthodox strategies. Just note that right now he has 5 builds on sheep and 1 on stragglers right away, for example. He's just doing this, and 3 forward houses here, starting the wall already. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the progression here. But I have to say myself, starting map, compared to his opponent, I'm talking about Wade's map here. Is it the main goal in the back? Yes, the secondary goal in the back. It's just few small walls here in the back. A bit unlucky with the boar on the side there. It's kind of far away behind the wood line, but all of his resources are so close, and except from his north side, which is kind of open, it's just a dream map in my opinion.
Absolutely. I think this is a very strong map for Wade. Like you said, those very small walls on the edge of the map here, and he's going to have 2 very safe gold lines accessible just from one gold building, gathering building. Now the unlucky thing, aside from the boar, I think, is the fact that both his stone piles are very forward. He's gonna have to do some creative walling to see if he can get those stone piles into a safe spot.
Yep.
Or maybe incorporate them into the walls and just gather them later with the defense of maybe a forward castle.
So I see Wade's walling starting on his north-hand side, just securing the very open area there, maybe the one towards myself as well, but the huge wall part is in fact on his north side, so that's gonna be the priority, I think, if he wants a wall. You never know, he could be going full aggression and just postpone the walling, so...
Absolutely. I just want to make sure we're at the right time.
Yeah, let's see,
time are you
4:30 there.
at? I'm sorry, one more time.
Yeah, it's I'm closing him on 4:45, and the second now I'm there. So
Okay, I'm 20 seconds behind you. Give me just a moment. I'll just fast forward for a second, and now I'm at 45. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, I just moved past 5, but we should be okay.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a. So myself already starting his walling. He has a decent wall up here. It's just that he can't secure as many resources, but he secures his main goal here with this wall already. So if he has a gold mine there, archers won't reach the furthermost tile here.
Now there is an issue if Wade goes for some type of forward tower aggression on these gold piles. It could be an issue on this because the wall is so close to the gold pile. A tower is going to be able to range any villager on those gold piles. Could be an issue later on.
Yeah,
of course,
true.
if he does do some good walling, which the map has very generously provided here, he does not have to wall off the back area of his map with this lion relic, etc. He just needs to do a very small, maybe a house and 2 house foundations between this wood line, and these 2 stone and gold piles back here are going to be completely safe. So
here's the thing: if there are any forward towers, which very well might happen, myself he will most likely never lose access to his stone in the back here, because that's just it shouldn't be denied really. You never know, but defensive towers will always be an option for myself, the way this map looks.
I think so too. And especially because the all of his walls, if you were to drop a tower, defensive tower on any of those sides, you're going to be protecting 2 or more resources. So it's a very good map for both players. kind of unorthodox for Arabia to have such easy walls on the desert version of this map.
Yeah, it happens. Also, myself is actually closing in on fully walled now because he has his well, let's call it the north side, his backside, and some gates and palisades on the left-hand side. It's just quite a broad, ambitious walling, but his opponent doesn't recognize it, and myself should be very safe
Loses
for now.
an eagle under the TC as well. That's going to be an issue for Wade's scouting ability later on. Those eagles too slow to get away and basically walk directly under the TC, taking fire.
Yeah, got really unlucky there. Myself, has he taken his second ball already? He's on the... Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. He's got so many villagers working around under his TC with the food here that he seems to manage.
Absolutely, that's 12 villagers. It does look like he has taken his second boar. He is now pushing deer with his eagle scout, which is a great play from somebody who you don't really expect deer pushing plays from somebody who wants to wall so early, but maybe he just wants to be very well defended for later on in the game.
Yeah.
Wade coming in with some militia right here on the right side, so it's possible that maybe he had some advanced knowledge on the aggressive play style of Wade. Just gonna run in and say hi there through the wood line and come down here and attack these palisades. It looks
Yeah,
like.
he's only here to find the base fully wall, and unless there's some sloppiness with the gate here, which isn't, the eagle pulls back. Wade is not going to be able to do much rather than forcing quick walls. But myself might actually use his eagle scout here. That's a weird fight to take against 3 militia. But he does.
Absolutely,
Anyway.
definitely going to lose that.
And Marcelli also losing the eagle. He knows of his opponent's side goal, but he doesn't know anything about his base. So it's slightly fascinating to see him taking that fight. And he's plugging a hole here, I guess, with his house, and successfully does so, not allowing the militia to advance. Even more house foundations.
That's interesting to see. I didn't even see that house, so that's a very good, keen eye from Meisel there.
So yeah, this palisade will go down anytime soon, unless this is gonna be man-at-arms tech, but it doesn't look like it now. That was definitely a rush. And this is not going anywhere unless... no, this is closed. Never mind. This one house closes this gap. And
now back at Wade's base, we do see an archery range coming down right as Meisel hits Feudal Age. Now what that means is we might see an old-fashioned rush into skirms play here. One of my favorite of the old AOC strategies here. Just because it's very, very stressful to deal with. So we'll see what we get created out of this archery range from Wade.
Well, it could be effective indeed, because Meisel is adding 2 archery ranges. Suggests he wants to go heavy into archers, I think, because he's also on gold. It's 4 on gold for now, quite heavily on wood. So if Wade indeed goes for the skirms approach, he's already got the defense established there. So palisade goes down, and the house might go down before Meisel can quick wall behind it, actually, if it doesn't pay attention.
It's also worth noting that while this is an Aztec war, both players are Aztecs and get this bonus. They will get access to the Atlatl unique tech later on, giving their skirmishers 1 attack and 1 range. So teching into any type of archery range units early on is going to be very important into maintaining their armies late game as well. Now we don't see, as far as I can tell, anything out of this archery range from Wade.
Could be just a defensive measure, expecting archers play for his opponent, and in fact that's what's happening. 4 archers going forward now. Fletching kicking in any moment. The militia will tear down Meisel's house in the side here. It doesn't seem to care that much because he can deal with those with the archers at home as well. But look, there's an opening in Wade's base, so Meisel can just march straight in next to the barracks here.
Absolutely. The stone pile there, showcased beautifully by Deer as we say that. That's incredible. It's going to be an issue if he just waltzes directly in there, because that TC, it looks like, doesn't have enough range to hit this west side. So these archers are going to be able to come in, take this left side on the house, move south, and keep attacking on these on this lower wood line, and maybe even looping around to hit the gold pile.
So Wade is adding archers on his own, but is also approaching Castle Age, so he may be going straight for crossbows. I'm a bit curious to see why he doesn't add in skirms, but the moment I says that, he adds skirms as well.
That is a decent quick wall from these villagers out here on the south side, completely blocking out these archers from getting back to the gold pile. Now they have to walk under this TC, which is far too strong for these 4 archers to take care of. It's a very good play from Wade, protective, very defensive, and it looks like it's going to pay off on keeping this aggression soft. These archers do eventually walk around with the TC not having enough villagers inside it to fire enough arrows to kill these archers. They are here. Now these villagers have enough firepower in their tiny little fists to take care of these archers if they can catch them. The issue is he's not attacking. He's just letting these villagers die. We've got 2 villagers that are about to go down if he can get that shot, just barely going into the TC. So that's 1 villager down on Wade's side. These archers finally going down. Skirmishers finally going down.
I'm saying this is great value for myself. 4 archers going forward and 1 eagle, mind you. It's cost lots of idle time. He lost 4 military, sure, but he damaged, even killed villagers, I think, and yeah, just stretching things up a bit. Even though Wade is now Castle Age and myself is probably kicking up soon. Yeah.
Surely should be clicking up very soon. Actually, looking at his resources, though, it looks like he's quite a bit far away from it with very little gold and only half the food he needs to click up.
So yeah, yours on second span. So myself has 650 food now. I'm gonna tell you when I'm at 20 seconds. And no, 20 minutes. Sorry. Here's,
okay, I'm 30 seconds behind you.
20. There. So yeah. Just fast forward a slightly. Okay, there's actually another opening on Wade's side I see now. I didn't see it, of course, but that's also one place near the ranges where myself could freely walk in, and the moment I say that, a gate goes up. so no opening there anymore.
100%. I do see that gate. I am at 2030, 2040 now.
Yeah, that should be
so
right.
hopefully we can see this.
Just a few seconds, so that should be nice. Yeah.
Perfect. Now, Meisel is going up Castle Age. We do see crossbows come out. Bosa is coming out for Wade. That's going to let him get a lot of the extra wood resources he's going to need to get archers and skirmishers out of these 2 ranges. It is a huge bonus, Bosa versus Bidaxe, when you talk about versus Meisel over here, who's still in the feudal age.
So Meisel has 4 villagers going to the left-hand side for some reason, far north side. He may be going for the stone. I don't know what's the plan here.
If he's going for the stone pile, I will be impressed. But that is not a bad play to sneak villagers over into a small gathering pile. It looks like it might have just been a gathering point mishap, though. Those villagers now standing idle at the top of the map.
The thing is, they were coming from the berries, so I'm not sure. I was suspecting he was sending them forward, but it seems to have something else in mind there. Maybe want to drop a TC on Castle Age. Let's see. There's the TC. He's going for the wood line on this north side.
Okay.
That sneaky wood
now,
line.
This isn't a bad play. It's an unorthodox play, but it's not a bad play. To have a TC completely snuck away from your opponent, does not scout it, does not know where it is.
Surely Wade has no idea. He hasn't scouted the corners at all. So now there's some crossbows from Wade picking off a bit of the wood line. So imagine myself. It's like he knew this was going to happen and he just sent some builds to secure a wood line somewhere else instead. It's amazing.
Now that is 2 villager kills for Wade's 5 crossbows, which is almost paying them off immediately, forcing some idle time walking back to this back wood line here on Meisel's side, completely denying this forward wood line. Meisel is moving out his skirmisher and eagle force. Doesn't look like he's moving in the correct direction of these crossbows, though. And these skirmishers, it looks like up here on the north end here, are going to scout this TC. This is a big problem.
Finding it. Wow. I'm impressed that Wade has the... it must be coincidence. I can't believe he would scout the sides just to Or maybe he knows myself as a player and knows that he might do these kinds of things, but...
Absolutely, this is a really interesting game. Now he's noticed that these skirmishers are dead, but he's done enough scouting. They are just moving through, getting enough scouting as they can, and getting out of there. Now,
So one
now
forward
we might see an
bridger.
engagement here in the middle here.
I think myself wisely pulls away. Well, they are even worse, but they are missing at least attack upgrades. I think still that he shouldn't take the fight against 16 crossbowmen with his few.
And soon to have the hill
village
advantage. I
stuns.
do not think this is a good fight to take, but it looks like he will have to take it. Otherwise, he's going to be moving back into his own base. He wants to keep the aggression on. He's now taking some volleys on these Eagle Warriors. One skirmisher going down.
Yeah,
An
crossbows
Eagle
almost
going down as
one-shotting
well,
those.
taking the hill advantage.
Yeah, good micro from Wade
It's a
there. He's
very
just
good advantage,
assuming
yeah,
the hill and he's
absolutely.
getting lots of kills and he hasn't taken any casualties yet. He's just cleans up here. It's a very good play from Wade.
Absolutely. Now that force has nearly been cut in half at this point. Now this is a great fight to take from Wade. And
Ballistics even kicking
like
in
you
from Wade
said-
soon. So 20 crossbows now, they're cleaning up everything, and now there are elite skirms, but that's not gonna do anything here because it's just a few of them. So there will be more, obviously, but
Now this is a complete switch of the game. Now Meisel is on the back foot here, completely losing his entire army out of those slow to produce archery ranges. It's going to be a long time before he can get back to a strong point, even with the Eagle Warriors that he already has. While these crossbows move forward from Wade's side, it looks like he's going to be challenging maybe this gold pile. If he can scout it, he does, I believe, have it scouted.
so I would love to see a castle near both of these gold spots just to secure it for myself. It's probably gonna happen at some point, but he's not stressing stone collection at the moment. I believe he doesn't collect stone barely at all. He has 4 builds on stone.
Absolutely, a monk moving forward with the army, maybe
Yeah.
to heal is at the same time, is also a very dangerous spot for that monk to be in with these crossbows circling in the water here. Doing very good at stutter stepping these skirmishers, staying in just that one tile of range where they're out. Now focus firing them down. These E-skirms are very tanky to these crossbows. They're gonna be losing about equal numbers. I do not think pulling out is the correct choice there, but it is a choice nonetheless, and we see them moving back to this hill. Maybe they'll take the hill advantage and continue this assault on these 3 skirmishers.
Yeah, he's pulling away. He should just finish them off, like you said. There's one. He has the hill now. He's gonna pick them off. But military count, mind you, it's 17 for myself and it's 15 for Wade. I'm assuming a mix of skirms and eagles for myself here, which is gonna be really dangerous for the crossbows. It's actually should be enough to finish them off, I think, because now there are 12 elite skirms and some eagle warriors mixed in.
Absolutely, and every military unit that Meisel has pushed out so far has been easily taken care of by Wade. Now it is interesting to think about if all of those units had attacked at the same time, what the outcome might have been. Just waiting just a few minutes longer to attack.
Let's see the crossbows here. They could... Shouldn't they be attacking the... Alright, they're getting palisade. They will get in. Now let's see how this plays out. Always, one thing about myself, he always adds his monks. He loves his monks. There won't be a myself game without monks. That's just the way it is. So one monk down for nothing there. You might even see
Absolutely,
crossbow
like I
going
said,
up.
it's a very dangerous spot with these crossbows just circling the water. Now, he might get a conversion on these Eagle Warriors, which actually would be a pretty strong thing. He does get the
Yeah, he gets
conversion.
it.
Now he's down the other Eagle Warrior. Now, these Eagle Warriors, if they can get a full surround, they're going to get good damage, but I do not think they're going to take care of the whole crossbow force. Now, these crossbows
the
still
Mangonel as
don't
well,
want to
though.
get caught.
The Mangonel might get a hit in, and then there's a completely different story. Let's see. Can he get the hit? Look, they're just standing there.
Ooh.
And see, the sneak
Sword
Mangonel...
getting in,
Oh,
come
almost no
on.
damage. There's a few kills there. Okay, another hit. He hits his own units as well, though, but it's not so ideal, but it's good value. I would say.
Absolutely, a decent split from Wade now. Now that the Mangonel is the only thing having to take care of, he walks immediately out of the base, and that's what I would do as an Archer player myself. Is when you
Yes.
see a Mangonel, you do not want to mess with it.
Now then you need either much larger numbers of archers crossbows, or you need to just back off. And now there's even 2 mangonels here, so good luck macroing that. And look at myself forward now in Wade's base. It's only skirmishers, no skirms, and Eagle Warriors here.
Absolutely,
doing
splitting the focus of of Wade really well. I did not notice that forward. Taking out quite a few villagers. It looks like that's 6 villagers over here by Wade. The numbers now are quite even. 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 4 carcasses of villagers. So it's very interesting that Wade was so far ahead so early.
Yeah, good,
Now
good forward.
obviously.
So we're looking at populations here. It's pretty much even, villager count even, villager count even. But then there's the KD. It's more kills for Wade because he has successfully taken out Mysel's army more than once, which should actually put him in a better economic spot. He should have more upgrades or more army total. It should benefit him in the long run because he's lost less units.
Absolutely. To Maisl's credit, though, I do think that was the correct play there. Completely dissolved aggression in his base and turned the population into an even game, even if it was only for a few seconds. Now Wade is 5 villagers ahead, even though he has 5 idle villagers. It's still quite a bit. Now moving down to 2 idle villagers, bumping up between 2 and 4. It's a very good play, though, to have no aggression in your base, get a few villager kills there, kind of like a revenge thing for the harass that you saw earlier in the game from Wade. So it's an even game now, I think, and it'll be interesting to see how the late Castle Age and early Imperial Age comes from these 2 players.
And now have a look at the leftmost side where Wade is sending 8 crossbows to counterattack here. He did get a few pickoffs, just a little sneak there with the gold pile near Mysel's another far off TC, and yeah, crossbows is just harassing a bit here, and they're both likely building army numbers at home. So let's see how Myself reacts to this. He sends 1 Eagle Warrior in, that's not going to do anything. But 5 more coming in now. Now we're approaching decent numbers, but Wade stays on the hill. Nice archer micro here, picks up 1 eagle before it can get there. And also taking the choke.
Absolutely not. I do think that he will be able to take care of these Eagle Warriors, not without some losses, but well, it looks like they're going to be able to get the full surround here, and now those crossbows don't have enough damage to take care of these Eagles, and they are gone.
So all things considered, still more gold lost from Myself, but of course a nice pick-up. Here's the castle for Myself on the hill there, protecting woodlines and gold. Nice hill for a castellet. And now look at the forward. This is all of Myself's army. 48 army going forward. It's a longsword. Loads of longswords now. Which with the castle might even get a unique tech for the extra attack, actually. Unless that's an Imperial Age tech, actually. I need to check. Never mind, that's Imp tech.
Absolutely. Now, if I disconnect at any point here, I have just been informed by my girlfriend that there is another tornado warning here. So we will see if I can get through this game. I just want to let the viewers know if I disappear again.
Yep, that's good to know. So nice switch from Myself here, expecting or looking and seeing his eagles for his opponent. He's already on the longswords here.
Absolutely, and at this stage in the game, longswords are surprisingly enough, not only are they all you have, obviously, but in the early Imperial Age, as Wade is about to get there, they are not a bad, like, you don't need to upgrade them all the way to the higher upgrades to take care of these Eagle Warriors. They are an effective counter at any level.
Longswords running in now. This is not ideal for Wade. This constant push for Myself. He's actually just flooding longswordsmen now, where Wade is approaching the Imperial Age, but that's certainly having an impact on his eco. He's nearly out of gold, which means he is not really going to be doing much in Imperial Age, unless he uses the market to... Does he have a market at all? Yeah, he doesn't have one.
Yeah, these longswords are taking a lot of free fire from these TCs down here in the south. They are getting some damage out on these crossbows. The interesting thing is you just don't want to let longswords stream into your base like this because they're very hard to deal with one by one when you don't have crossbow numbers already ready to deal with them.
Yeah, I don't see Wade adding crossbows at all now. He probably did the switch to eagles, and then he doesn't have the wooden gold to sustain crossbows anymore. So this longsword push is what wins myself the game actually.
Absolutely, yeah. The GG gets called. I'm not sure if I'm behind it all or ahead at all, but it's a very good game. I really enjoyed the aggression out from Meisel's side there.
So let's update the score here. It brings it to 1-0 for myself here. And we'll be moving on to Wade's home map, which remains to be seen. I'm just going to switch screens very soon, just have a look at the stats. That's always good to see. Yeah, overall, pretty similar eco. Look at them both having build high over 100. Myself though collecting the relics wisely enough because it's an Aztec mirror and Aztecs do get extra gold from relics. So you need to prioritize those as well. And that may have actually gotten me a little
Absolutely.
edge. KD as well is 112, 112 for Wade here. 107 to 112 for myself. I don't know what that
It's an
means.
extremely close game all the way through.
So that's what mirrors can do to it. And you have the same options. You have to make some adjustments on the way, and myself taking the edge in the end here. So moving on to game two, which looks to be. Let's see here. So I open it. Game two is Serengeti. So I'm gonna add some commands here again.
Okay, Akkal, I think I might unfortunately need to log off here for a little bit just due to the weather.
Okay, no worries.
I hate to do this. I just don't want to accidentally disconnect or perhaps like a short, like a lightning surge hit the building and
Yeah, that's
mess up the computer.
yeah, we don't want to. But thanks for sticking around. I think maybe I'll just have some other plans coming up later. So let's just continue the session some other time, which is hopefully tornado free. And I'll just
Yeah.
cast this last set, and we'll catch up with more games some other time.
Okay. Well, I would like to apologize just to everyone. Obviously, I don't control the weather, but I would like to
Yeah,
because I do want to finish the set out. But I do apologize.
yeah. I'm just hoping we can get the rest of the sets in before potential new patch kicks in. So maybe if you're around some other time, we'll try to catch the last weighted 3 games that are on the Reds by now for the moment. So yeah, best of luck with the tornado to pass, and yeah, it's
Thank you very much.
so see you around some other time.
Uh, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Okal.
So let's see. Alright guys, so we have lost our co-caster, but I'm gonna finish this second match anyway, for whoever's still watching, and we have Serengeti. Um, so we have Wade playing as the Franks in the blue here, and myself on the other corner in the red playing as the Mongols. Mongols, extremely strong sim for Serengeti considering they hunt 40% faster. And myself actually has all of his hunt collected on one side here. It's a fantastic map for Mongols. He even has a decent wall off here among the woodlands. So many woodlands to choose from, it's gonna be really hard to deny resources from myself here. As I said, Wade on the other hand, he has some woodland in the back, some berries in the back. That's actually great for Franks. They have the berry harvesting bonus. And he also has a back stone, so he could safely buying stone for defensive or offensive casting. All of his hunt is also gather at one point here, but alas for him it's forward, so that's gonna cause potentially issues with early aggression denying this. So myself actually already going forward is scouting for his opponent. At the second minute he really wants to have an overview of his opponent's map here, I think. Looks like Wade could somewhat easily secure this right hand side here with some creative walling, and he also has some big woodland options to choose from here. So myself knows his opponent. Maybe we'll actually be seeing some kind of infantry rush opening for myself, considering his scouted his opponent this early. So I'm gonna fast forward a bit just to catch up with some fusion action or whatever might be coming now. So looks like Marcel is going for the let's getting Doom. It's not adding any barracks as of yet. It's actually even down almost 2 villagers, which is surprising to me, him being Mongols. And Wade Scout is running in to harass a bit here. Marcel now wisely decided to mill his hunt on this side, and because it's also close, there's even no shorefish here to take. Another mill for myself. But now Wade is going up to the fuel age. He's dividing his wood choppers to either side here. And I would be surprised not to see a stable being dropped by Franks when we reach the fuel age here. So that's all splitting up a bit here, catching the hunt, and it's going really heavily on food as well. Could be even if he wants to go for scouts himself, which is not uncommon for Mongols. Obviously he has more population to cover it, which means he will have more food income, he can sustain more scouts. But Wade placing his barracks near his hunt is going to be hard to hit his food income here. So Wade actually surprisingly reaching village first here. Well, let's see if the stable is dropped or what's the play here. There's the stable. Only one villager building it. He knows he's ahead since his opponent hasn't reached village yet. And his scout also causing some idle time on the opposing side. But Wade, being the Franks player, he has more HP on his scout. So he could easily take the fight against Mysel's single scout here. Mycel is dropping a stable as well, he's dropping it near stables here. Wade's scout might potentially go down. Wade preemptively already adding spears at home as well. So he's certainly prepared for a scout rush here. Mycel, however, he is not only sending scouts, he's only also preparing a militia here, which may have been a misclick because he cancelled it. But 5 scouts now being instantly queued, also including his starting scout, so I think Brazil might be looking to out-army his opponent here with his with him going to village with more population space. But I think Wade has a more stable economy behind it already, since he had less idle time in village. He reached in Dark Age, he reached village sooner. Should be interesting to see how this plays out. So just one scout from beyond Mycel here, testing the waters a bit. He finds 2 spears, knows that this is not the area he's going to hit. Wade now with 3 scouts forward, but already there's a spear here covering the ground. So Frank scouts, more tanky than your usual scout, since you kind of get 3 bloodlines in a sense. They have more HP and village. Wade now getting wheelbarrow for his 10 farms, and he backs off from this spear. Successfully causing some idle time on Mycel here though. And Mycel has 4 scouts on its own just on standby now. Maybe he wants to clean up his opponent's numbers a bit before engaging. Here we go. Should be a great engagement for myself this. Although Wade snipes farming in production here. So myself with the admittedly weaker scouts, he still outnumbers his opponent here. It's 5 scouts to 3 here, but he needs to dodge the spears as well. So he's avoiding the fights here. He should need to run into the eco here. Maybe he could get some hits in on the wood lines and just. Still, it's annoying to have scouts in their base like this, and he takes the choke point here, able to clean up some scouts. Even though with spear meddling in here, Marcel wins the fight, and he still has 4 although weak scouts alive. He's even getting the upgrade for attack upgrade for his scouts now, and also this one stray militia here, who just barely won the fight against the spearman. That's a hero militia if I've ever seen any, but then this tanky male villager here gets the last hit in and finishes the militia. So Wade in danger of losing a build here. Myself still needs to dodge the spear here though, but he gets the villager. Nice micro. Myself now 3 villagers ahead, causing so much idle time on his opponent. And so myself scouts get cleared up, but now he already has the follow-up with archery ranges here at home. Could be seeing okay, Wade is about to click up to the cast stage actually. Myself is not. He's going to stay in queue for longer. Archers moving forward now, myself with slightly more military here. That being spears and archers for the moment. So sending forward to completely unupgraded archers forward now. And also adding more scouts actually. Which is good because the scouts can contest potential skirmishers if Wade at any points add those. He does have 2 stables now, he's on the way to cast stage. So he seems to be going for the knight's approach here. But now let's see if Myself can do some damage here. His archers will pick off a spear here, which means the scouts can roam around freely here, but he needs to dodge some TC fire here though. Successfully does so. And Wade is actually forced to fight off the few archers that are here with villagers. He must have noticed that the archers don't have inflection, so they're not really that dangerous, all things considered. Myself with a significant villager lead right now since his opponent is advancing and he is not. So he should have a strong eco at home to back his advancing soon. With some market abuse here, he is closing in on picking up. Wade doing some decent defense here now. He has a few more kills. He's adding scouts on his own. Soon it's likely he will add knights as well, I think, because he certainly has the eco to back it. So that should put a stop to Mysel's slow archer flow here. Yeah, he actually backs off with his archer. I'm thinking Myself needs a switch here. He's showing calculation, he's adding archers. So maybe he actually still wants to go with the archers and into crossbows approach, but then he should also get some upgrades in here, which he is not getting at the moment. He's actually only producing from one range, it seems, and now is completely idled. Wade scouts running forward here now. Myself trying to wall off a bit here. But this choke is really bad move for Wade scout. Myself will get almost 2 free kills here with the spearman. almost gets the last hit in, but now his walling will be unprotected and pay the price here. Just a slight annoyance here before some more knights will come forward. They have a +2 defense, they also get +1 attack here, which obviously affects scouts as well, so they could easily contest spearmen now, since the only thing they have is the 1 extra attack. And so backs off from his woodland here now. He certainly has other options to go for.
It's too risky. The question is
Just a steady flow of knights here now for Wade. Myself just reached the cast stage. He immediately starts producing camels now from his stables. So 5 camels in production, that's gonna be easy for them to handle knights, I think, but he may be missing... Alright, knights could actually take this fight because the camels are unupgraded. So it's 1 down. Yeah, I think that's a decent fighting weight there, taking out 2 camels. And he also has more knights in his way. But myself now being slightly annoying in weight space in exchange, causing a bit of idle time again, and also forcing him to have 1 knight to stay at home to clean up. Now, myself, assuming back control, 1 villager out to the side, taking woodland and some neutral resources here. That's gonna pay off for him, because Wade, he hasn't scouted this area at all. So that's gonna potentially take some time for Wade to notice. So some +2 knights now, shading out here and there. Wade and myself pretty even in the military count. Wade now back in the villager lead actually from his raids and expansion here. I think myself is still on, well, it's soon to be 3 DCs, but he's a bit started in the boom follow up here. Some cavalry archers added from myself now. Still no upgrades on them though. But they can surely be annoying, for example, down here on the woodline and such, and force villagers to garrison. But I really think myself should prioritize some upgrades with the... Seems to be going for army numbers rather than upgrades. And this is a fight he shouldn't take without upgrades. Wade would actually win this one if he went for it, because he has full upgrades on his knights. Monks inevitably are out, chasing the knights away a bit here. Never a muscle game without a monk, you know. And looks like he's scouting the side here now. I don't know if it's intentional or accidental, but now, oops. Seeing myself expansion here. Is it just passing, or is he gonna get some hits here? He doesn't have enough knights to take out this TC, I think, but there's only 1 villager inside, so this might actually hurt myself a bit here. But camels are coming in now, and Wade really needs to back off, and he does. Now some cav archers in here, still no upgrades for myself on those. It has to be said, it's really annoying for a player to play against myself when it's like this, because it's just changing units all the way around. You've seen scouts, spears, militia, cav archers, and camels for myself so far. So how do you counter all these things? You need to adapt the whole time. It's debating a bit, so even forcing the knights to follow these camels here. So. Well, he does have the military lead though. I'm suspecting it's all knights for Wade. He should collect his army and go for a forward again. I think it's myself is still open, so there's definitely damage to be done. And if Wade can extend his lead here, he's gonna be in a good position as Franks, but you really can't afford to let Mongols get their boom going, get the stone, get the castles up, and get the Mangala. You want that. We need to stay aggressive and not allow the relics as well. Is that 2 relics for myself now? Soon to be 2. But wait, he's gonna stop this walling again here. So nice awareness there, assuming that the wall is still going on, and picking off one walling villager again. Just wants to blind myself a bit on this side, taking out the outpost. Not really moving further forward. He needs to have more knights here and just back off, because now Missile brings in some camels. Let's see his reaction here now. Sees the camels, and goodbye knights, because now the camels have the +1. Good fight from Missile there, taking out 2 knights with 3 camels, and taking in losses himself there. KD is very much in Wade's favor though, with 42 kills, 27 deaths. He has the villager lead. He seems to have slightly more map control. Should be interesting to see the continuation here. Just one scout roaming around here. Still forcing Wade to garrison. He wants to pick off this guy, but not so much to be done here. And Marcel is finally finishing his palisade on this side, at least temporarily keeping out raids. He will have a warning if something happens here. Now some camels forward, successfully picking up some stone villagers here. Nice move from Marcel to go straight for the stone to delay Wade's potential castles. I don't think he has any up yet. He can certainly afford one as Frank Stowe. With Wade's spears doing work here, though, they have the +2 since the knights have the upgrade. Of course, the infantry gets as well, so nice little clean up there. Wade does have the score lead, but the villager count is dead even. KD in Wade's favor, and population also slightly in Wade's favor. He's even going for Imperial Age. And looking at Mysel's equal is not in his plans as of just yet, because he's really low on food. Some ranges for Wayne now. He's maybe expecting more characters from Magada or so, but he's also seeing myself suddenly with 7 monks on the field here, and they successfully get at least 1 knight converted. So in Wade's, if you're in Wade's shoes, you must be confused by now, because there are monks, there are cavalry archers, there are knights, there are camels. Just how do you counter it? Because there's so much going on all the time. But here's a defensive castle for Wade, covering some wood lines, some gold, also adding some lights, which will likely become upgraded to cavaliers very soon. So cavalier picked immediately here, but there are some knights good before that, so you should either maybe consider cancelling those and just get cavalier in straight away, or he just wants to collect his numbers and then get the cavalier upgrade in. Taking into elite skirm as well, still expecting Mangodai from myself, which might be a good assumption, because here's one castle producing Mangodai in back for Zell and another castle going up. I think Wade is a bit indecisive in his with his army now right now. It's, of course, he's waiting for upgrades and numbers, but if he broke in, he knows about this TC, so this could be a spot to hit, for example, because Marcel's army is not in the immediate vicinity of it. So these players seem really evenly matched. They're both assuming map control on either side. Myself may be expanding more in the width than forward, but AD speaks to Wade's favor. The villager count is pretty much the same. Wade with the villager lead. He is on 3 TCs, same as myself, but myself was obviously a bit later with his TCs. There's only one castle for Wade. He's probably wondering where his cavalry upgrade is going now, but it's on the way. He's getting Bodkin arrow for the skirms, and Mycel is moving out to the left-hand side here. What's the play here now? Is he going for some more neutral resources? He's going for the side gold here, not knowing Wade is already here, but he's sending so many villagers. He's actually assuming 2 neutral gold piles, let's say. But finally, we'll see a slight push from Wade here, just annoying a little bit with skirms. Mysel's army is beginning to look threatening on this side of some cav archers. Now with the upgrades, Mangodai gearing up. This gold is... well, they're both sharing it peacefully here for now. Cavalier is in for Wade, and he's pushing forward. Here are cavalry riders ready to engage from himself. They're still only have the Castle Age upgrades, I think, but we see a lot of text coming in from himself at this moment. He's getting Imperial Heavy Camel, he's getting Chemistry, he's getting... well, sure, he's getting everything here. He's getting traps out on the field as well. So Wade with the larger army here. The skirms are handling the cavalry archers and Mangodai nicely, I think. But cavalry as well, attracting some firepower from myself here. And it's actually a very, very good. Looks like a great fight for myself here. He's cleaning up a lot of cavalry here. And the skirms fire away, but that's not really gonna do much against these mountain units. They need to target Mangodai. And even some monks on the field, they're healing up Mysel's attacking units, and they're aiming for conversions here. This one might be converted. So Wade's still at the military lead here, but that's mainly skirms now for now, I think. Myself likely with a stronger eco at this point. There's also a description now. But Wade with a forward castle now on one of Mysel's gold. That's not really gonna matter much because Mycel is mining gold on the sides. He's assuming the map nicely here, so he's planning to the right areas to get valuable res. Now even the step lancers added from Mycel here. I think they should do very good against skirms actually. Yeah, at least decent. Now, can Mycel stop this castle from going up? That's the question. He has some traps here, so it shouldn't really be an issue for Mycel to trap it down anyway. And Wade's forward, although Wade has a lot of map cover here, it's still difficult for him to expand and make damage in Mycel's base, which is more or less full walled and covered by castles. So he tries to run in here, but he runs into heavy cavals now with the attack and defense upgrades in. So, but looks like Paladin is in for Wade, and that makes things a bit more complicated. Cavals should still put up a nice fight though. This castle, I wonder if why Mycel's trap is just idling here. It should also be targeting this castle, and the castle would be going down much more easily. So lots and lots of production for Wade here, but he's also losing numbers. The KD is still in his favor, but he's not really allowed to push. And Mycel even putting up a castle on the gold here, so Wade is losing access to his gold on that side, which they were both taking from the same pile. Wade is out of stone, he can't repair his castle. He is flowing units still, but it's just staying in the same spot here. He should be looking to maybe break in here or something and raid. But this is where the huge fight is going on. Myself still can't get this castle on kill now. Resource wise, they look somewhat even the match. Wade actually with soldier recall to back it for now is 129 builders. But he is still not allowed to push forward, and as the late game moves on, Mongols will only become stronger. Wade is out of armor here for a moment. He is replenishing, but now some light cav raids are in for myself on Wade's woodland here. He's gonna take some losses here because all of his army is going forward to this spot. And military count now much higher for myself, is almost double the military. He will start pushing into Wade's base. I think he needs to get his castle down, of course, but there are 2 tribes here to do the job, and the GG is caught. So good performance from myself in playing Serengeti, taking the neutral resources rather early on. This TC was particularly early and secured 1 stone gold in that way, and in the 8th Wade is just not allowed to enter his base. So very well played from both players. It seemed like an even matchup again, but it's myself drawing the last straw in the end. So Wade with the eco lead, but that didn't change the outcome of the game in the end. You see myself generally with match military even larger numbers for here, but that's mainly skirmishers for Wade and stronger gold military for myself. So that concludes the Desert Cup casting session for today. So thanks for sticking around and watching, everyone, and we'll be back for more at some point later, I guess. Maybe this week, maybe sometime else, but anyway, thanks for watching. See you some other time.